Do you think the power of love is a joke? Well, depending on the fan base, you probably do. But as you read more and more, I hope you start to realize you're going to look very foolish. Because this concept is a legitimate power system in One Piece, and it's being emphasized more in the latest arcs. On surface level, what is the power of love in One Piece? To keep it simple, it's the act of harnessing strength from a deep desire of love towards an individual, or harnessing the strength of love in a scenario that has correlations to a loved one. This power also allows you to bypass natural laws within the One Piece verse, and momentarily gain immense strength. If that was confusing, let's use an actual definition in the story. A power that can't be measured by common sense. The power that makes the impossible possible. It blows everything else away. That hurricane is love. And no kidding guys when I say that this is probably the strongest means of power in the show. But that topic is saved for my other videos that should be coming out this week. And by the way guys, this is going to be a 3-part video. I'm dropping this one first to give context to those other videos, so subscribe to the channel if you guys want to see that, and leave a like please. The theme love has been showcased in One Piece ever since pre-timeskip, with several characters, establishing that love is a reoccurring theme in One Piece and is something that Oda had in mind to portray in the story. A famous line in East Blue that we've seen Sanji say for the first time in Arlong Park is that love is always a hurricane. 500 chapters later, we see the grandma lady on Amazon Lily say that famous line once again, because in this scenario, Hancock, the character who despised men, who despised what the world government did to them, was willing to revisit the prison that enslaved her for a man who she loves. And by the way, Boy Hancock shouldn't really like any man from what we knew about her before she met Luffy. But love made her change her entire character. Love has been showcased more often as a metric to overcome obstacles and used as a power-up in combat, utilizing the power of love. Here are characters in One Piece that displayed the theme of love or the power of love in One Piece. Garp is one of the first people we see utilize this power. He actually has a concept called the Fist of Love, which allowed him to punch Luffy without any haki and actually be able to damage him. Oda, when asked this even in an SBS, clarifies that the reason why Garp was able to damage Luffy was because of the power of love. Whitebeard is someone who had scenes where he displayed love to strengthen him or do something out the ordinary, but his whole character is centered around being strong and obtaining power to create and protect the family, which obviously he would share his love deeply with them, even to the point where he still loved Squirtle after he stabbed him and betrayed him at Marineford. Kuma has displayed the true strength of the power of love. When designing Kuma, Vegapunk put a switch in his body to where he shouldn't be able to move or act on any free will. His body should have become a vegetable and shut down before he even arrived to Egghead Island. Vegapunk couldn't even believe the fact that Kuma was able to act and move. Vegapunk says this seems like it's beyond science, and he chalked this up to it being the power of love, which was a great display of the power of love since Kuma did save his daughter's life. This was a very great emotional moment for both of them and highlighted how much Kuma loved his daughter since he was able to protect her under the circumstances that his body shouldn't even be working based on how it was programmed. Sanji has showcased the power of love several times and is the main power of love user portrayed in the story. One of, if not his greatest feat with this power, was his body subconsciously rejecting the complete mind control and obedience of being a zombie soldier. Even in that state, Sanji's zombie body was subconsciously protecting Nami due to the power of love. Sanji also displays his power of love protecting Nami once again, when he flat out takes a fisherman karate punch to the head by a shark without any signs of discomfort or damage. Yes, you could say Sanji is just so adorable, but Sanji was the same guy feeling discomfort from hitting debris when Queen was swinging him around. Sanji then later on that arc displays the power of love once again, where he literally defies the laws of physics stated by Kizaru in order to completely nullify his laser beam with a kick, which is not something we've seen in the series, especially because of Kizaru's reaction as well. And yes, this was chalked up to the power of love. As you can see in Egghead Island, the power of love was already used 3 times, twice with Sanji and with Kuma's whole existence being able to fight for his daughter. So we're seeing Oda is now wanting to expand on this power, and it seems like it's going to happen in Elbaf since we have the power of love guy as in Sanji, preacher in love as in Gaban, and the thorns that punish love as in Saint Summers. This arc has key characters that will showcase this theme of love and its power to its fullest, making the power of love truly a more established means of strength in One Piece. A wise man once said, as in Scopper Gaban, love holds no bounds, which is exactly what's been portrayed. The typical act of love being a main driving force for people in One Piece is real, whether or not it powers them up or not. The aspect of love shapes up many characters' identity and their motivations. Bo Hancock hasn't done anything noteworthy in terms of powering up with the power of love. Unless you count One Piece Stampede, that's definitely a power of love moment, but we can all agree she's due for a power of love moment based on her character. But the theme of love already enhanced her as a character, and her love for Luffy already makes her fight with unparalleled dedication. Her love for Luffy made her defy all her obligations to the world government. Even her own morals and principles she stood on against men. Garp's love for his grandson Luffy and Ace couldn't bring him to stop Luffy at Marineford, indirectly betraying the Marines, giving more depth to Garp's character, and showing you a man who worked at the Marines all his life and all he ever knew was the Marines and all he wanted to teach his kids was the Marines. Him who was faithful to his job and his organization even got in the way of his duty that he's so righteous about. Pudding's love for Sanji reformed her entire character, making her help the Straw Hats in the end. People who harness the feeling of love towards other people in battle make the impossible possible. Kuma saving his daughter doesn't have an actual logical explanation. Garp damaging a rubber man Luffy with his bare hands doesn't have an actual logical explanation. Sanji negating a laser beam with his leg doesn't have an actual real logical explanation, but one: the power that makes the impossible possible, the power of love.